Hello, Professor Morris. This is my oral presentation of the course Leadership and Diversity. Today, we are going to discuss about diversity beyond race and gender, barriers in the career advancement of Latin women in leadership position. Okay, let's get started. So in this first slide, I'm sharing the agenda of this presentation. First, we are going to start with an introduction. Then we are going to move to the research proposal. Then we are going to clarify some key concepts. Then we are going to explain the application and mission. Then we are going to analyze diversity debate. And also we are going to clarify how community diversity lead in innovation and in destiny. And finally, we are going to provide an integrated framework, share the gaps and conclusions. So in today's globalized world, it's pressure to companies to develop diversity strategies as driver of innovation and change. Despite the progress, Hispanic women face several challenges that hinder their career advancement to leadership positions. So the research proposal. The research topic in this presentation is barriers in the career advancement of Latin women in leadership positions. The research proposed the study aims to identify the diversity, representation, and inclusion barriers faced by Latin women in career advancement to leadership positions. The thesis statement, a synthesis of common sense emerged from the literature indicates that Latin women face several challenges that hinder their advancement into leadership positions. In this slide, I'm sharing the key concepts in this presentation. So first, we're going to clarify the cognitive diversity meaning, then epistemic inclusion, then functional diversity, and then identity diversity. So what is cognitive diversity? Cognitive diversity refers to organizations that include people with diverse backgrounds, including demographic, knowledge, skills, and field in the decision-making process. Epistemic inclusion is a process of integrating diverse opinions and viewpoints from people with diverse backgrounds to develop a common understanding. On the other side, functional diversity is defined as the variety of skills, capability, and roles among team members in the workplace. Includes how they affect and interact with each other in the native environment and under changing environmental conditions. Lastly, identity diversity refers to the varied characteristics such as race, ethnicity, age, knowledge, skills, and field that an individual can bring into a group. In this slide, I'm sharing a comparative table of these key concepts. So, for example, cognitive diversity. The focus area is decision making, and some key characteristics include different perspectives, mental model, and knowledge bases. So in epistemic inclusion, the focus area is participation in knowledge creation. Some key characteristics includes listening, dialogue, synthesis, and mutual recognition of perspective. Diversity, functional diversity, the focus area is a work function and expertise, and some key characteristics include role specialization, technical capabilities, and complementary competencies. And lastly, identity diversity, the focus area is demographic and social identity. Some key characteristics include race, ethnicity, age, gender, background, and lived experience. In this slide, I'm going to explain how diversity becomes useful or ignored in teams. So diversity can produce positive effects when it's leveraged to create a strategic value to the company by applying inclusion practices, also including communication norms, or applying also great communication channels, and when promote psychological safety, which affect whether ideas are voiced, treated as credible, and used in decision making. For instance, diversity is useful when the company apply inclusion practices. So these allow better problem solving, company capacity. So also when the company promotes psychological safety, which increase employee commitment and productivity because because the employees feel safe to share their ideas and opinions, and this create a good cultural environment for employees. So when a company apply communication, develop collaborative working environments and help to the company to interact with workers, and also when create um, better communication channels. Community diversity, as a result, drive innovation and creativity. However, diversity can be ignored in things when low inclusion practices or ineffective inclusion practices and creates a lack of representation. And also, when there is a lack of psychological safety, increase the disparity between minority and major groups. When the communication channels or the communication strategy are not effective, this creates friction and division among groups. So as a result, decrease the feeling of belongingness and commitment in the workers. So there are some strategies also to leverage the advantage of diversity. For example, one strategy is the integration of difference by creating climate where difference and uniqueness are appreciated. We facilitate open communication, social relationship, and a sense of belongingness. Another mechanism is inclusion in decision making, in which diverse, unique, and alternative ideas and perspectives are considered in the business ideas and business decisions to develop a competitive strategy. So diversity can also bring some debates. There are some adverse and several opinions. So in the business world, segmentation is a marketing strategy that divides the market in groups based on demographic characteristics to develop more tailored and personalized groups. Because this is a common practice because company can't meet all the requirements of the population as a whole. So it's better to focus in one target. Another example is in higher education. Some degree programs are offered based on racial diversity, with faculty chosen for their cultural background and also include professionally competent professionals and individuals. Okay, so when community diversity drives in innovation and in directed behaviors. So community diversity supports innovation and ambidextrous performance, enable the development in unique solutions. Ambidextrous behavior combines exploratory approaches driven by diversity and exploitative approaches enabled by implementation, which can lead to innovation. Exploratory activities in the workplace consist of public employees seeking and implementing new ideas, solutions, and innovative thinking. Exploitation activities, in contrast, involve leveraging foundational knowledge and skills to improve efficiency and efficacy. Consequently, employee ambidextrosity is an individual behavior orientation toward the balance search for exploitation and exploration over a specific period of time. In addition, the higher the levels of both activities, exploration and exploitation, the better the performance because employees maximize the exploratory and exploitative skills in their daily tasks, thereby contributing to organizational success. At the same time, cognitive diversity encourages the creativity and self-efficacy nature of ambidextrous behavior, when employees can turn their unique and distinguished skill into innovating performance, which is a key to developing a competitive advantage. Okay, so in the next slide, I'm going to share how it works in mental map. So the phase one, we can consider, for example, cognitive diversity as a whole. Cognitive diversity brings unique perspective and skills. In the phase two, is combines these dual capacities, the exploratory and exploitative approaches. In the phase three is the outcome, is the result. So this leads to innovation, performance, development in unique solutions. And in the phase three is the impact. So this creates a sustainable competitive advantage for the company. So when the company changes their diversity through ambidextrous balance, individual skills are transformed into systematic innovation. So um, the integrated framework of this presentation is, for example, that there is beyond the numbers, understanding diversity in the field of women, Latin women participation. So like labor participation, women entry into the Latin American labor market has grown, but real economic autonomy remains elusive. Labor feminization is correlated with economic growth, also an increase in the hour offer that does not guarantee that women could be promoted and receive some recognitions. Diversity is a broad concept. In emerging economy, diversity goes far beyond number representation. It encompasses the diversity of thought, lived experience, and unique contributions that women bring to the teams and organization. There are a lot of evidence that women are good leaders and also are they more empathetic and are also are effective when they apply how they foster good cultural environment. The remaining challenge, increasing presence is not enough. The key is to create conditions where those perspectives are heard, valued, and integrated into strategic decision making. So the research gap and question. There is a lack of study focusing on Latin women and diversity in the business field. So another research gap after analyzing this information and prior study is that there is a need to evaluate the impact of a strategy for women representation in leadership positions. Future research directions should explore opportunity for minority groups based on diversity constitutional and legal advances. So some of the gaps are found considering that there are not too much research and investigation focused on women studies, especially Latin women or Hispanic, because in emerging economies such as Latin countries, the women in research are not appreciated. So the research question is what are the barriers in the career advancement of Latin women in leadership positions? So this could open for future studies and include more qualitative studies also, and include the diverse challenge for Latin women in emerging countries, for example, in South American or Central American countries. And some of the barriers can include internal factors that undermine the career advancement of Latin women leadership position. Internal barriers include a bipatriarchal mindset of many women and also the subordination of women. External barriers include some legal advances, legal practices, and also business practices. The conclusion. Diversity is attracting the attention of many researchers due to its impact on innovation and its strategic value to the company. Another conclusion is workplaces are becoming more diverse and global, requiring a deep understanding of community diversity to leverage its benefits and minimize the risks posed by individuals with diverse backgrounds. Lastly, prior studies demonstrate that Latin women face several challenges in leading management positions, the lack of alignment of constitutional reform and diversity strategies. This is this slide is the references, include the reference in this presentation. And thank you for your attention.